because you're not using that energy, of course. Now the second major problem is the muscle mass declining. This is not that bad until we reach the 50-year-old. But after that, every year it's declining with 1%. So this is why usually the average 50 years old looks quite good, you would say. And after that, this weight problem is just goes to the top. And after 10 years, when you lost almost 10% of your muscle mass, it really shows in you, because this is the bigger problem. The normal metabolic rate of the muscle is actually 3 times bigger than anything else. There's only one exception, which are the nervous cells, but of course the brain is not shrinking. In some cases good, but normally it's not shrinking. So this is a major problem, because every day muscle mass, what you lost above this age of 50, it's impacting your metabolic rate hugely. And also there is a third factor, which is the external environment. So on one hand we have great pressure from the outside that makes slim, be young looking, and on the other hand we have all the fast food companies who are constantly trying to seduce us with, foods that are easy to consume, very delicious, and of course full of calories, but lacking vitamins, minerals, and other important factors in foods. So what we would like to do, what we would like to accomplish with TR90 is to get these 3 major areas of the aging and deal with these. These 3 reasons are the main reason why the Europeans are trying something out. Every 1 in 5 Europeans try some kind of diet, and a lot of people are disappointed. They're disappointed because these diets won't work or could be very unhealthy. Now let's a little bit start with these unhealthy side effects. So normally when we are talking about weight reducer, we are talking about a diuretic pill. So it actually forces out the water from your cells. Now this is really unhealthy. So that's why you can't use these weight reducer pills more than 2 or 4 weeks. Because after that, it would be so dangerous for your health that you can actually faint out or even have major heart failures. So this is very unhealthy, and this is why we would like to deal with this problem in a more natural way, not to force out something from the body and not to force out something from what our people do. Of course, there are misleading advertising and there are yo-yo effects. For example, in this case, in the weight reducers, when all the water are forced out from your body, usually you get back all the weight what you used before, because after you stop using those pills, all the water will get back to muscle cells and your fat cells again. And of course, you will get all the weight back. So what people want today? Of course, they want something very healthy, very fast, and something that they can adjust for a fast living life. So let's talk about our solution and what have we accomplished. So with age of science, we are actually managed to find out the main reasons why this whole biological change appear in the body. And of course, just like with any kind of age-lock product, TR90 is also aiming for these sources and for what aging is really behind. So with age-lock science, I think when we're talking about age-lock, the first thing what would have to come in our mind is actually the age-lock science. Because age-lock gives us the opportunity to produce different kind of products. But it's really the gene expression science what is really behind the whole thing. So thanks to ligand technologies, nowadays we are able to find out all the gene expression changes that's occurring in the body as we age. And as you may know, that there are a few thousand genes which expression is changed as we age. Now, TR90 is really focusing on the genes that are responsible for getting more weight on your body and for reducing all your muscles, so you're losing all your muscles. And of course, there's a third space, which is actually your mindset. It looks like that older people has a tend to eat more of these unhealthy food. So when we're talking about cravings for the excess of calories, actually there is a trend that goes on thanks to the gene expression changes, which means they are actually eager to get more calories, eager to get more empty foods into their body. So what we would like to accomplish here is to adapt this age-old science for the science of the weight management. And of course, with the help of the age-old science, we have been identifying, targeting, and rebalancing those new genes that are responsible for the weight management. Now, let's just stop here because I'm not sure that everybody understands what gene expression is. Not too much, okay, Kara? So, gene expression is actually an information flow. So, when we are talking about gene expression, we are actually talking about how the cells are communicating in their cells and how this is impacting the body. The gene expression is actually a very natural process. So, like I would drink a glass of water and it gets to my gastric, and all my gastric cells will say that, hey, there's water here, let's absorb it. So this is a typical example of a very fast gene expression which goes on in the gastric cells. Now, when it comes to your skin, for example, it has a much slower reacting rate. Like, it has almost a 30-day process how it can adapt to the environment. So you start using a cosmetic, it doesn't really matter if it's age-old or not, because your skin will react for it. There's gonna be gene expression because you're constantly influencing those skin cells where you're applying the cosmetics. And after 30 days, you will actually be able to see the change or not. Now, what's the difference between age-old products and non-age-old products is that actually we know the genes that we would like to influence. We know the genes we would like to rebalance, and we've managed to find all the genes that are responsible for the aging. Now, when we are talking about humans, we are talking about 25,000 genes, but only a few thousands are involved in this process. For example, there are 52 genes related with the energy production when we are talking about mitochondria. There are more than 70 when we are talking about how the cells clean themselves. There are more than 130 when we are talking about skins. And actually, there's proper gene expression rate, of course, for the TR90. And you are going to learn more about this if you go to the global convention. But I give you an overall picture of this. So the three main gene expression clusters that we would like to aim are responsible for the healthy metabolism, for the muscle mass, and of course a positive mindset. Now, the biggest problem with the traditional diets, and it doesn't really matter if it comes from the pills or just a diet, is usually that they actually lost a lot from their muscle. Now this is a huge problem because, as I already told you, the metabolic rate of the muscles 3 times more than any tissue. So what happens after we stop the diet? We start eating again, and all the muscle will come back. But of course, this means that the yo-yo effect will appear. And usually, the fat won't just go away because it has a very slow metabolic rate. And also, there's another factor. You have to watch out for your weight. As you may notice, I'm not talking about weight reducing when I'm talking about TR90, but more like weight management. We don't want you to lose a lot of weight because a lot of weight loss is actually unhealthy. Losing more than 14 kilograms during a 3-month period is actually unhealthy due to a lot of doctors. So what we would like to focusing on is the centimeters around the stomach, on the thighs, and so on. And that's why the TR90 is actually changes this equation, because you don't want to lose the muscle, and that's the main point. So first, let's talk about the mindset. Now as I already told you, that older people tend to get more calories. Looks like there's a gene cluster that is responsible for this sensation of hunger. And looks like after the age of 25, 30, there's a big trend that goes on in our mind. And it's like a devil that is constantly saying on your shoulder that eat more. You know, just the chips, the snack, grab it. You know, especially when you're in front of the television in the evening and you don't have to do anything else and you're just sitting there and all the snacks are there just next to you. Now, the TR90 would like to help you with this. During the whole program, we don't want you to starve, not at all. Actually, the eating plan involves 5 times of eating, and in every occasion you have the possibility to eat something like vegetable, fruit, which is lack of calories, but full of vitamins and fibers and so on. So the next one is muscle mass. So we don't want you to lose the muscle. This is a very, very important point. So the whole diet and also the nutritional are aiming to maintain this muscle. There's a gene expression rate which goes on. There is a gene cluster that is responsible for maintaining the muscles. And to rebalance it, to maintain the muscle mass, you have to eat a lot of protein, more than 100 grams a day. That's quite a lot. And that's why you're not going to starve, because you're going to eat a lot of wheat. Of course, low on fat, but a lot of wheat, full of protein. And the third is actually the adipose tissue. Now this is a bigger problem also, because I'm not sure if you're familiar how your body do the energy, but actually there's 2 ways. One from the carbohydrates, and the other one is from fats. Now, here we can find another trend. Usually older people are using the carbohydrates more likely. Their body can adapt it more, and they like it more actually. And instead of burning all the fats they give to their body, they just simply store it. So that's a big problem that we have to deal with. We have to rebalance the gene expression of the metabolic rate of the fat using again. So with TR90, we have a very whole program together. First, we have the food supplements. At the center, you can see we have 3 food supplements. We have a meal replacement bar on the right, which you've already tasted. And of course, there are lifestyle advice, which involves an eating plan and of course a normal exercise plan. So let's first talk about the TR90GS. The TR90GS is actually a boost in the beginning. It gives you a push, a jump start to start the whole program, which is really needed because when a normal person, a completely average guy, starts the program, he just buys the whole program and he hasn't really decided that he wants to go through it or not. So the jumpstart is actually responsible to give you the push, to set your mindset on positive mood, and of course to induce the proper metabolism of reducing all the fat. You're only going to take it for 15 days, in the first 15 days of the program. Now, it's a powder and you have to mix it with water or a different kind of beverage, but it's not a shake actually. I advise you to take it in the morning for an empty stomach, and just after eat your breakfast. Now the second one is the complex F, which actually stands for fit. So this one is the most important nutritional supplement because it is responsible for rebalancing your metabolic rate. Your metabolic rate of the adipose tissue. So the complex fit is a very important one. It's actually in a capsule form. You have to consume it 4 times a day. Every capsule you have to take it with 25 or 15 minutes before a meal. So in case of 5 eatings, that means morning and a snack after, and in the evening and a snack before, for example. Now, as you can see, it is also very natural nutritional supplement, just like the JS. It mostly contains different kind of herbal ingredients, like the citrus fruit extract, and also there's capsicum and green tea in it. Now, the third one is actually the complex C, which stands for the control, and this helps you to strengthen your willpower. The complex C, or the complex control, it actually helps you to reduce those carvings for the unnecessary and really bad plus calories. The complex C, and just like complex F, must be taken throughout the whole program for 90 days. You will take 3 capsules a day, and just like with complex F, you have to take it before a meal, 25-20 minutes. So this one actually contains, again, herbal ingredients like cocoa and pomegranate extract and surgery extract. Now, I know that you're wondering that what is actually the big story behind these ingredients, because I can go to the market and buy some surgery, or I can go to the market and buy some cocoa or capsicum. Now, when it comes to the nutritional supplement, we are talking about extracts. Now, when we are talking about extracts, we are talking about concentrated compounds that are able to do something or not. Now, HROC, what is big about HROC is actually not the ingredient or how it sounds the ingredient, more like the way we do the extraction. There's a lot of way to do a herbal extraction. For example, for ginseng, you can do more than 25 ways to process, and more than 100 ways to extract the needed compound or molecule. And not everything is needed. If you want to eat capsicum, for example, in such concentrated way, you have to eat at least 100 of them. So that's a lot. You don't. You're not capable of. And that's what the extracts are capable of. That's what the extracts are for. To concentratedly give you the needed compounds to influence the gene expression you need. Now with the M bars, we are talking about meal replacement, one of the main meals. And also we are talking about proteins, because the M bar is actually made of a lot of milk proteins. Now, as I already pointed out, the whole program is focusing on giving you a lot of proteins and small amounts of calories like fats and carbohydrates. And the M bar is specially designed to give you one of the amino acids, leucine, which is an essential amino acid and also have a very good trend to influence the gene expression of the muscle mass maintaining. With M-bar, you're going to replace one of the main meals, and actually this bar could be seen a very little portion of food, but it actually contains more than 20 grams of protein. It actually contains a lot of vitamins, and also some carbohydrates are involved. So in the case of the eating plan, it's actually counting 1 carbohydrate, 1 vegetable or fruit, and 1 protein portion. Now, the last product, what you will hear is actually a little bit booklet, kite. It will contain exercise plan, which is very general. You have to focus on your endurance when we're talking about the TR90 exercises. So first, you're going to move a lot, but with low intensity, like an hour walk, for example, every day. After that, you have to progress in it, and you have to start more intensive exercises with less time. And well, the aim should be with like every exercise is to get you in the gym and do something like very, very intensive, like try a spinning, for example, or something like that. Now, with the eating plan, we would like you to build up very healthy eating habits. So we have just separated these food categories into 3 types. The first one is actually the build, which stands for the proteins. Now, the only real rule about this is you have to watch out if it is fat low or not. So you can eat cottage cheese or meats, but it has to be fat low. Now, in the middle, it's the carbohydrates, the fuel. You have to limit this very, very much. This is the most important rule in the whole eating plan. You cannot eat more than 1 portion if you eat a meal replacement bar, because the whole program's aim is to reduce the carbohydrates and maximize the proteins. So even if you cheat a little bit and eat more meat, for example, that's not a big problem. But if you start cheating with carbohydrates, you're gonna have a bad time. Now, with the Protect is actually aiming for the minerals, of course, and vitamins. This is also something that you can cheat a little bit. As you may know, the vegetables are not full of calories. It's not sweet or anything, right? So with vegetables, you can actually access this 4 portion. I'm not recommending to do the same with the fruits though, because fruits are actually containing fructose, which is one type of sugar that your body can actually use. So if you start eating bananas in the evening, again, you're gonna have a bad time, because you have to limit the fructose intake also. It's sugar again. So as you can see here, 111 portion stands for the meal replacement bar. So if you summarize it, it's actually 6 protein, 2 fuel, and 5 from the Protect, from the minerals and vegetables and fruits. And here is a very simple eating plan, what I put together for specially designed for you. As I know that you're not eating too much for the lunch. So I have put it down bar right in the center, in the lunch. This would look like totally different when I'm going to present it for the Eastern Europeans, because actually Eastern Europeans eat the most big portion for the lunch. So in this case, we have I have put it a build, the protection, and fuel in the breakfast. So it's like a big traditional English meal. You will eat everything. You will eat vegetables. You will eat meat or eggs or something which is full with protein. And you can eat something with carbohydrates. Now around 10 o'clock, you can get some snacks. I highly advise something like yogurt with fruits, which is also containing some sugar, but also containing a lot of proteins. For lunch, you can have a bar. For a snack, again, grab some fruits or vegetables. And in the evening, thanks to the 2 build and 1 protection, you can have like 2 slices of meat with some kind of veggies. So it's not it's not like you're going to starve or something. So these are the main selling points of the whole eating plan, is that you're not going to starve, of course. And there's no counting calories. So the whole eating program is based on portions, which are very easy to keep in mind. And you're not going to count everything you eat. Because when we're talking about counting the calories, we are talking about limiting all the food what you would be able to give to your body. And limiting limiting the food eventually leads to muscle mass loss, and we don't want that, of course. So keep in mind, please, that keep the portion of the proteins high, a little bit less but high with the vegetables again, and keep the carbohydrates portion very, very limited. And lastly, I would like to show you some real science. First, the results of the preliminary studies. And this is something that I actually saw it on paper, so I can give you some more insights what you will actually see on this diet. So, as you can see it here, the participant lost 15 to 25% of their fat. Now this is what TR90 is really aiming, losing the fat and not losing the muscles. Also, they haven't reduced their weight too much. Like Michael said, a few kilograms is absolutely okay, but not like losing 10 kilograms or 20 or 30, like a very big, unbelievable number. It's more like reducing the centimeters. Like, I think women really like it because in the preliminary studies was shown that for the women it was actually more than these average numbers. So it was like 7.6 centimeter on the waist and the same on the hips. So it's quite a big number compared to the weight loss. It really shows that we don't want you to lose muscle, but more like to lose the fat, the stored fat. And actually these numbers were bigger for women, so you can expect even better changes. Now, of course, this was a 90 days program, so it was like 3 months. And compared to traditional weight-reducing pills, this means that you are actually going for the long run. And that's what's happening now with the current ongoing clinical research, because that's a 12-month. So every participant are taking TR90 for 1 year, which I think shows best the safety of this product. You cannot show me a weight reducer on the market nowadays, but you can actually continuously take for 1 year. Because it could be very unhealthy for you. For example, it will force out all the water from your body. And TR90 is like working in a very natural way. We are giving you a very good diet when you will not going to starve. We are giving you proper supplements which are working in a natural way with herbs and not forcing anything from your body, just rebalancing it, optimizing it. And during this 12 months, these participants are going to repeat 3 times the whole TR90 program. So they will have big experiences, and I think everybody who goes to the global convention will get great information from them, because there will be testimonials from them, and you're going to be able to see what's happening if somebody does the whole program 4 times. Of course, this doesn't mean that once you start the TR90, you have to use the product continuously from that time. It means that the product is very safe to even repeat it. The aim of the product is to transform your body during 90 days. And after that, you will still have handlings. You have the eating plan, you have the exercise plan. You can still go on with them to maintain your weight, of course. But if you are still unsatisfied with your body, you can repeat it and even lose more. Or finally get to the gym and get some more muscles on yourself, of course. So the program is I think, a very, very flexible one. You can mix it with any kind of program, even with very popular paleolithic diets nowadays, or even people who are often working in the gym to maintain your muscles or even grow their muscles can adapt and use the TR90 products. So thank you very much for your attention, and please manage your weight and think big, because this is gonna be big.
Thank you, Colin.